Hello students, Excel Tuition welcomes you to our channel. In this video we are going to solve science paper for standard 9th. Maximum marks is 70. So let us begin. Instructions. There are 39 questions in the question paper. All questions are compulsory. Second, question number 1 to 18 are multiple choice questions carrying 1 mark each. Question number 19 to 32 are short answer type 1 questions carrying 2 marks each. 4. Question number 33 to 36 are short answer type questions carrying 3 marks each. Question number 37 to 39 are long answer type carrying 4 marks each. There is no overall choice in the question paper. However, an internal choice has been provided for 3 questions of 2 marks each, 2 questions of 3 marks each, and 1 question of 4 marks. Now we will solve the question paper. Select the most correct alternative from those given below each statement. 1. If Sunita buys a few grams of gold at the poles, she will find at the equator the weight of the gold has dash. Options are A decreased, B increased, C remained the same, D none of the above. And the answer is A decreased. The weight of the gold at the equator will be decreased. Direction. Question number 2 and 3 are assertion reasoning based questions. This consists of 2 statements, assertion and reasons. Answer these questions selecting the appropriate options given below. Both A and R are true and R is the correct explanation of A. Both A and R are true and R is the correct explanation of A. A is true but R is false. A is false but R is true. So question number 2, assertion here is given a satellite orbits the earth in an elliptical path. Here the assertion is correct. Next, reason. The gravitational force is a central force. Here the reason is for the assertion is also correct. So the correct option is both A and R are true and R is the correct explanation of A. Question number 3, assertion. The speedometer of a vehicle measures the ongoing speed of the vehicle. Reason here is given. The average speed of a vehicle is the total distance covered divided by the total time taken. Here the assertion is wrong as the speedometer of the vehicle measures the instant speed of the vehicle and the average speed of a vehicle is the total distance covered divided by total time taken. Here the reason is correct. As the assertion is wrong, the correct option is fourth one. Assertion is false but reason is true. Question number 4. The change of state of a substance from gaseous state to liquid state is dash. A. Condensation, B. Evaporation, C. Fusion, D. Sublimation. So the state from which a substance converts from gaseous state to liquid state is called as condensation. Question number 5. During summer we prefer to wear clothes that are made of dash. A. Dark nylon, B. Dark silk, C. White cotton, D. White silk. A and B will be wrong as dark absorbs more heat. So, but in summer we prefer to wear clothes and loosen clothes. So, C and D contains white clothes that do not absorb heat. So, white and cotton is loose cloth loose fibers. So the correct option will be white cotton. Question number 6. The physical state of water at 78 degrees Celsius is dash. A. Solid, B. Liquid, C. Gaseous, D. Plasma. The physical state of water at 78 degrees Celsius will be liquid. MCQ number 7. The suicide bags of a cell are dash. A. Mitochondria, B. Ribosome, C. Lysosome, D. Nucleus. Suicide bags of a cell is called lysosome. Question number 8. Identify the given tissue. Here the diagram is given. We have to identify which is the muscle. So A. Smooth muscle, B. striated muscle, C. cardiac muscle, D. skeletal muscle. Striated muscle and skeletal muscle are multinucleated, but here in this figure it is given as uninucleated. Cardiac muscle is also multinucleated. So the correct option is A. Smooth muscle. Question number 9. The dead tissue among the following tissues is dash. A. Parenchyma, B. sclerenchyma, C. collenchyma, D. erenchyma. The dead tissue is called as sclerenchyma. 10. The SI unit of acceleration is dash. A. meter second raised to minus 1, B. kilometer r minus 1, C. kilometer second raised to minus 2, D. meter second raised to minus 2. The correct option is D. meter per second square. Question number 11. In a uniform circular motion, the parameter that remains constant is A. distance, B. speed, C. displacement, D. velocity. The correct option is B. speed. Question number 12. In prokaryotic cells, an undefined nuclear regions having only nucleic acid is called dash. A. nucleosome, B. nucleoid, C. nucleopore, D. nucleoplasm. And the correct option is B. nucleoid. Question number 13. The temperature of boiling water is dash. A. minus 273 K, B. 0 K, C. 273 K, D. 373 K. The temperature of boiling water is D. 373 K. Question number 14. The momentum of an object of mass m moving with a velocity v is dash. A. mv the whole raised to square, B. mv square, C. half mv, D. mv. The momentum of an object of mass moving with a velocity is, momentum formula is m into v. So m into v is D. Option D is correct, mv. Question number 15. X and Y are two objects having masses 12 kg and 34 kg respectively. Then dash. A. X has more inertia than Y. B. Y has more inertia than X. C. X and Y has same inertia. D. X and Y do not have inertia. So here the correct option is B. Y has more inertia than X, as the object having more mass will have more inertia. Question number 16. In vacuum, all the free falling bodies have the same dash. A. speed, B. acceleration, C. velocity, D. force. And the correct option is B. acceleration. Question number 17. The acceleration produced by a force of 12 N exerted on an object of mass 400 gram is dash. A 40 meter per second square, B 30 meter per second square, C 12 meter per second square, D 3 meter per second square. So force formula is force is equal to mass into acceleration. Here force is given as 12 N and mass is given as 400 gram. We have to convert it into kilogram. After converting, we will get 0.4 kg multiplied by acceleration. After solving the acceleration, we will get, after solving this, the acceleration will be 30 meter second raised to minus 2. So the correct option is B, 30 meter per second square. Question number 18. The component that is not found in xylem tissue is dash. A. Sieve tubes, B. Xylem parenchyma, C. Tracheids, D. vessels. And the correct option is A. Sieve tubes. Now we will solve section B, which comprises of questions and problems, and give reason. Question number 19. Draw a neat label diagram to show the sublimation of ammonium chloride and label solidified ammonium chloride and inverted funnel. Here it is the neat diagram of the sublimation of ammonium chloride. Here on the sides of the inverted funnel, here we can see it is the solidified ammonium chloride. Okay, and this is the inverted funnel. In this way we have to label it. Question number 20. A vehicle moving with a velocity of 20 meter per second increases its velocity to 60 meter per second in 8 seconds. Analyze what will be. First, the acceleration of the body. Acceleration formula is velocity upon time. Your velocity will be 60 minus 20, as we have to find between the 60 and 20 meter per second, and the time here is given 8 seconds. So 40 upon 8, 8 5 are 40. So the answer will be acceleration of the body is 5 meter per second square. Question number 2. The distance covered by the body in the 8 seconds. To find the distance, you will take the formula S is equal to ut plus half at square. Here the initial velocity is given as 20 meter per second. So 20 meter per second into 8 plus half multiplied by acceleration we found just now, that is 5 meter per second square multiplied by t square. Here time is given as 8 raised to 2. Now after solving, get 160 plus 5 multiplied by 32, 320 meter. The distance covered by the body in 8 seconds is 320 meter. Question number 21. Draw a scientifically correct diagram of a plant cell, label mitochondrion and Golgi apparatus. Draw a neat label diagram of plant cell and label mitochondria and Golgi apparatus. This is Golgi apparatus and mitochondria is this. Question number 2. Give a point of difference between first distance covered and displacement, second velocity and acceleration. First distance covered and displacement. Distance covered is the total length of the actual path traveled by an object regardless of its direction. What is displacement? The shortest distance measured from the initial position to the final position of an object is called as displacement. Second one is velocity and acceleration. Velocity is the speed of an object moving in a certain direction. Fourth, acceleration is the rate of change of velocity. Question number 23. Analyze and explain. 1. Will a plant cell burst if it is placed in a very dilute solution, and why? Here in this case the cell will not burst. The reason here, in the dilute solution we know that there will be less solute. The solution surrounding the cell contains less solute, that is the dilute solution around the cell, or higher concentration of water than that in the cell, more water enters the cell and less water leaves it. Therefore, the cell gains water and swells up, but it won't burst. Such a solution is called as hypotonic solution. Thus, the cell won't burst. Second, what happens during plasmolysis? Plasmolysis is the phenomenon by which a plant cell shrink away from the cell wall when it loses water by osmosis. Or question number 23, analyze and explain. 1. What would happen to a cell if it does not have any ribosomes? So the answer here will be that the function of the ribosome is that to synthesize protein and supply to different regions of the cell. If the cell does not have as ribosome, the ribosomes won't be able to produce proteins, which will impair the function of the cell. Question number 2. How does smooth endoplasmic reticulum helps vertebrae? So, your smooth endoplasmic reticulum's function in vertebrates, the smooth endoplasmic reticulum helps in detoxification of poisons and drugs. Question number 24. Give reason for the following. 1. A gas completely fills the vessel in which it is kept. Reason: the gas completely fills the vessel in which it is kept, as the particles of the gas have maximum freedom to move and have maximum space between the particles. Question number 2. A steel cupboard is called a solid. Answer: the particles of steel has very strong force of attraction. Second thing, kinetic energy is very less and particles cannot move freely. So the steel cupboard is called a solid. Question number 25. An object moves from y to z and then goes to x. This is a problem based question. So here the object moves from y to z in this direction, and again from z it goes to x. So question number 1, find the distance covered by the object. Here distance means the total distance covered by the from the initial to the final point. So the total distance path traveled by the object. Total path traveled by the object. So from y to z will be 20 and from z to x will be 50. So here the answer will be 70 meter. Here distance is meter. Question number 2, find the displacement of the object. So the displacement of the object definition of displacement is the shortest distance traveled by the object from the initial point to the final point. So from y to z, because it moves from y to z, then z to x. So from y to x the displacement will be 30 meter. Now moving on to question number 26. Why is blood considered to be a connective tissue? Blood is called as connective tissue because it has a fluid matrix called as plasma. It transports gases, digestive foods, hormones and waste materials to different parts of the body. Question number 2. What is the matrix of the cartilage tissue composed of? Matrix of cartilage tissue is composed of proteins and sugars. Question number 27. Why is Newton's first law of motion called the law of inertia? Give one example of Newton's first law of motion. Answer: why is first law of motion called law of inertia? The first law of motion specifies that a body at rest shall continue to be at rest, or a body in motion shall continue to be in motion unless an external unbalanced force acts on it. Thus, the body resists the change of state, hence, it is called a law of inertia. Example of Newton's first law of motion: when a moving car suddenly stops, the passengers inside are thrown forward. This is because the passengers are still in a state of forward motion. Question number 28. Why is water sometimes sprinkled on rooftop during summer? Evaporation produces cooling. The water which is sprinkled on the roof evaporates and produces a cooling effect. Explain how humidity affects the rate of evaporation. The rate of evaporation is faster when the humidity decreases. In winter, the humidity is less than in the rainy season. Therefore, in rainy season, the clothes take time because of humidity. Because due to the rainy season, which has more humidity, the clothes take time to dry rather in summer or winter season. Question number 28. How can a diver dive into a swimming pool but can't dive into an ice lake? As the swimming pool contains water, and the particles of water has less force of attraction and are able to move freely than solid, which is a ice lake. Question number 2. What causes a sponge to be compressed even though it is a solid? A sponge has minute holes in which air is trapped. When it is pressed, the air from the holes escapes and therefore it can be compressed. Question number 29. Differentiate between prokaryotic cell and eukaryotic cell based on 1. Nuclear region. 2. Number of chromosomes. Difference of prokaryotes and eukaryotes based on the nuclear region is that the prokaryotes have no well-defined nucleus and eukaryotes have a well-defined nucleus. Second, based on the number of chromosomes, prokaryotes contain single chromosome and eukaryotes contain more than one chromosome. Question number 30. Why does a gun recoil after a bullet is fired from it? Before the bullet is fired from a gun, the sum of their momenta is 0. When the bullet is fired, the bullet gains momentum. Therefore, by the law of conservation of momentum, the gun should also gain equal negative momentum so that the sum of the momenta after firing also remains 0. Therefore, the gun recoils. Question number 2. Why does a boat move backward when a sailor jumps out of it? Answer. The action of the sailor is jumping out of the boat, and the reaction is that the boat moves backwards. So, by the third law of motion, to every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. When the sailor moves out of the boat, and the reaction of it is that the boat moves backward. Thus, the boat moves backward when a sailor jumps out of it. Question number 31. What would life be like if there was absolutely no friction on earth? Describe how you would do activities like 1. Walking. 2. Holding objects. Now, the characteristics of the friction are that it is a self-adjusting force up to a certain limit, and it only acts in the direction opposite to the direction of the motion. So, in the case of walking, if there was no friction, walking will be impossible, as while walking the foot will move forward, and due to the friction the floor or the ground will move backward. Question number 2. Holding objects, it will be impossible. The ability to grip and manipulate items relies entirely on the static or friction between our skin, and if the friction is not present between the skin and the object, it will let the object will fall, or we cannot handle the objects. Question number 31. Make a safety poster explaining why it is dangerous to stand in a moving bus without holding on to something. We have to make a poster. Question number 32. Why does a wooden block released underwater comes up to the surface? Answer. The weight of the object is the force due to gravitational attraction of the earth. When the block of wood is immersed, the upward force exerted by the water on the wooden block is greater than its weight. Therefore, it comes to the surface of water. To write two reasons why the universal law of gravitation is important. So the universal law of gravitation is important as it explains and determines the force that binds all the terrestrial bodies to the earth. Second, it explains why the moon revolves around the earth. Question number 33. When is an object said to be in free fall? An object is said to be in a free fall when it falls to the earth only due to the gravitational force of the number 33. 2. If the mass of the body is 90 kg, what will be its weight if g is equal to 9.8 meter per second square? On the earth and on the moon. On the earth, the formula is weight is equal to mass into g. So to find the weight on the earth is equal to mass of the body is given as 90 kg. Earth's gravity is 9.8 meter per second square is equal to 882 Newton. And on the moon, to find the weight of the moon is equal to mass of the body multiplied by the gravitation of moon. So gravitation of moon is 1.62 meter per second square. So after solving we will get the answer 145.8 Newton. Moving on to next question number 34. Why do plants growing in dry regions have a thick epidermis? The answer is plant growing in dry regions have a thick epidermis in order to prevent or minimize the loss of water through transpiration. Question number 2. What is the function of lateral meristem in plants? The function of lateral meristem is to increase the girth of a plant. Question number 3. Write the function of lignin present in the sclerenchyma tissue. The presence of lignin in the sclerenchyma tissue makes the cell wall thick. 35. 1. Draw a neat label diagram of the plant cell, label cell wall and chloroplast. So here this is the cell wall, and to label the chloroplast, this one is called the chloroplast. Name the two types of plastids found in the plant cells. The two types of plastids found in plant cells are leucoplast and chloroplast. 36. 1. Give one point of difference between mass and weight. Difference between mass and weight. First point, mass has only magnitude. Second, weight has magnitude as well direction. Second, mass of an object is constant. Weight of an object changes from place to place. Question number 2. What is the SI unit of universal gravitational constant G? The SI unit of universal gravitation constant is N Newton meter square per kilogram square. Question number 3. Name two instruments that work based on Archimedes' principle. The two instruments are lactometer and hydrometer. Why are voluntary muscles called skeletal muscles? Voluntary muscles can be moved at our will and are responsible for movement. Therefore, most of them are attached to bones or the skeleton to help in the body movement. Hence, they are also called skeletal muscles. 2. Draw a neat label diagram of a neuron and label nucleus and axon. Here is the neat label diagram of neuron, and this is called the nucleus and this is called as axon. Third, state two characteristics of the cardiac tissue. Here are the characteristic features of cardiac tissue. The cells are cylindrical and branched, one or two centrally located nuclei, and this muscle is only present in the heart. To find the final velocity or the common velocity of the boy and the trolley, we will first find the initial momentum of the boy and the trolley. So first, the momentum of the boy. Momentum formula is mass into velocity. Initial mass of the boy, the mass of the boy is 60 kilogram, and the initial velocity before jumping onto the trolley is 3 meter per second. So after multiplying these two terms, we will get 180 kilogram meter second minus 1. Now to find the initial momentum, we will use the same formula. Mass into velocity is equal to the mass of the trolley is 140 kilogram and the initial velocity of the trolley is 1.5. So after multiplying, we will get 210 kilogram meter second minus 1. The total initial momentum is equal to the initial momentum of the boy plus the initial momentum of trolley. So initial momentum of the boy is 180 kilogram meter second minus 1 plus 210 is the momentum of the trolley. So after applying the law of conservation of momentum principle, so what is the law of conservation of momentum is that the initial momentum before the collision is equal to final momentum. Initial momentum of the boy in the trolley, that is the total initial momentum is 390 kilogram meter second minus 1, and to find the momentum of both, so is equal to 60 kilogram plus 140 kilogram multiplied by the final velocity. So 390 is equal to 200 kilogram multiplied by final velocity. We know the final velocity is equal to common velocity of both the trolley and the boy. So 390 kilogram meter second minus 1 upon 200 kilogram is equal to final velocity. So final velocity after solving we will get 1.95 meter second minus 1. Question number 2. State the law of conservation of momentum. The law of conservation of momentum. During a collision, the sum of the momenta of the two objects before collision equal to the sum of the momenta after collision. Question number 3. Why does a high jump athlete bend his knees as he falls after the jump? Answer. A high jump bend their athlete knees upon landing to reduce the force of impact, which minimizes the risk of injury. Number 39. Study the distance time graph of a moving object and answer the questions given below. So here is the graph given and we have to solve the questions that are asked based on this graph. So question number 1. Name the type of the motion exhibited by the object. In this graph we can see that here on the y-axis it is given distance and on the x-axis it is given time, and here the graph shows a slope between the x-axis and the y-axis. The slope here is a straight line. The graph is a straight line with a positive slope as it is going upward. Positive slope indicating that the object travels equal distances in equal time. It travels in equal distances in equal intervals of time. Therefore, the object is in the uniform motion. Question number 2. Calculate the speed of the object. So, to calculate the speed of the object, the formula is speed is equal to distance upon time, as we all know. And to find this, first we have to convert the units. First we have to determine the scale of the axis. Here it is that 1 centimeter is equal to 10 seconds. Okay. Determine the scale of the axis. On the x-axis 1 centimeter is equal to 10 seconds and y-axis 1 centimeter is equal to 15 meters. The initial position of the object is 0 and after traveling to this point it will be 70. The time is taken 70 and the distance is 105. On the x-axis here 70 seconds are taken in 7 centimeter. Speed is equal to distance upon time. The final position of the object is at the distance 105 meter and the time taken for it is 70 seconds. So distance here is 105 meters and second is 70 seconds. After solving we will get 1.5 meter per second. Question number 3. A train attains a velocity of 72 km per hour. Express the velocity in meter per second. We have to convert kilometer per hour into meter per second, the SI unit of velocity. So first here 1 kilometer is equal to 1000 meters. 72 kilometer is equal to 72,000 and 1 hour is equal to 3600 seconds. Displacement upon time, velocity is equal to 72,000 divided by 3600 is equal to 20 meter per second. The last question, write the equation of the motion which gives the relationship between u, v, a and t. The formula for the equation of motion is v is equal to u plus at. Thank you. Do like, subscribe and share our channel for more such videos. Bye.